What's going on, guys? Back again. So I've not posted a video for a little while, but reason being is I've not been too well myself and just had a lot going on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick what I'm saying now at the start of the video so you guys can see. We're gonna be putting the kit on in this video, so all the carbon parts. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pan over to what's been filmed already, and then today we're going to finish off the rest of the car. So we've got to put on today is front splitter and these winglets. So before we do that, I'm going to pan over and you're going to see what I've already done to the car, and then we're going to come back to this. So stay tuned, guys. So now that the headlight's complete, guys, I've brought it down for a full wheel alignment. The initial drive, which was my first drive, was pretty good. I mean, I've driven cars before where they've been damaged and they've been all over the place, but with this one it's not been too bad, and hopefully the wheel alignment will sort out the steering, which is slightly off. But yeah, other than that, we should have the alignment done today. So we've brought the car down to Discount Tyres, and we've got one of the guys just setting up the machine for the full wheel alignment. Okay, cool.
So, looking at the two suspension arms,
Yeah.
the eccentrics work on an oversized washer.
Okay.
They push against two pillars either side, a metal bracket, one here. This one's easier to see.
Yeah.
So you've got one there
Yeah.
and one on the inside edge, and that washer pushes against those two metal pillars and allows the wheel to move in and out. Very slight amounts. You notice here,
Yeah.
there's a bracket there and a bracket here. And that one is sheared off. It's completely smooth. So this lower arm needs replacing.
It needs replacing, right? Okay.
You can have a bit of metal welded on, as long as I have something to push against, it's fine, but realistically it's because as you can see, this side I've nailed it in. That side, no matter how much I spin that, because there's no metal pushing against it, that bolt's moved all the way, there's not supposed to be a gap here.
Fair enough. So it needs something to rest against, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Obviously, I can still mess with all the numbers, but that's the best camber-wise that side's going to get. I can pull all the toes in, get everything else done.
Yeah, see what you can do. And then I just have to get that replaced.
The way it works here as well, so say I get all the adjustments done.
Yeah.
We'll get it all done.
Yeah.
You'll have to pay for it today.
Yeah.
But then, say you get it fixed in a couple of days, bring it back, we'll readjust it, we'll do the whole thing again.
No
We
worries.
won't charge you for it.
No worries. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll have to do that, yeah.
Lovely, let me see what I can do with these
Cool.
numbers then.
No
Get
worries.
it best drive before you
Yeah, wicked.
Alright, lovely. Straighten just here. Let's go two pylons, but this one worn along the floor of water.
Just about see it, can't you?
Yeah. There's one part number there, there's also one written on the arm
right
there.
there. Okay. 6082. That would be it. Cool.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do you want to read this one out here?
What's that one saying?
Says
I think both sides
they
should be the same.
Yeah, I don't think they're ambidextrous on these because they look identical.
Yeah, because I think these two arms are exactly the same, identical on both sides.
2284 533-05, and it's an M Performance arm.
No worries, wicked. Alright, I'll get that ordered.
A few moments later.
Okay, cool. So
Once I'm able to pull that arm straight, because a BMW's the camber arm controls both camber and toe.
Yeah, yeah.
And the toe is just controlled by toe.
okay,
So, as I pull that camber straight,
yeah.
that toe will come in.
Alright, cool.
So I just need that.
So once I get that,
It should be straight as an arrow, mate.
yeah, wicked. Nice one for that.
Other than that, other than a little bit in the rear, but they're not miles out, it should be pretty good for you at the moment.
Yeah, so everything else is looking good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wicked.
And you won't have any more arch rub, because I know that's when you drive it in, it rubs in
Yeah.
the arch, you should do that. Right?
Nice one. Well, thanks for that. Wicked. So that's all sorted now. Shout out to Brandon. We sorted that out. Discount tyres. Hopefully we can get that new part replaced and get it sorted. So Brandon's done with the car now. He's bringing it out. All we got to do is change that rear arm and bring it back, and hopefully he can sort that out for us. I mean, the numbers they've got show that everything's in the green other than the offside rear, so hopefully, like I said, we can get that done within the week. Shout out to Brandon again. Once again, nice one.
Keys in the centre console for you.
Wicked.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. Alright, now it should drive nice and straight, other than the rear wheel, but we'll get that sorted. I just ordered the part while I was waiting. So, yeah. Whilst I was waiting for the car to be finished up, I managed to find a used part on eBay which looked a little crusty, but later in the video you should see that I cleaned it up with a bit of sandblasting and a bit of paint. So as you can see, I've cleaned up the part and it's all been sandblasted and painted. It looks like brand new. I've just put it up against the car. You can see on the old one where the little notch is missing, so I had to replace the entire arm just because of that little notch. But as you can see, new one's there and it was fairly easy to put on. So that is now complete. We've put the new part in. You can see it's nice and shiny. Obviously this is going to need adjustment. That's the bit that we were missing. So now we've got that, we can get the rest of the tracking sorted out on this corner. They'll have to do the whole thing again to make sure it's all aligned. But for time being, we're going to start to put the styling parts on. So we've taken the diffuser off, the old diffuser. There's a few clips, 2 bolts on each side, 8mm bolts. And now what we're going to do is we're going to knock the exhaust tips off. We've already done this side, knocked them off. We're going to show you how to do this side. That's what we need. We need a hammer and a pry bar. So all we're going to do is, these are clipped on. They kind of slide on with clips and they're really difficult to take off. So what we have to do is get a pry bar and just give it a whack on the bottom, around the sides, and as you can see, that's now coming loose. We just want to make sure we don't whack it. If you've got someone helping you, like I've got Zaid, you want to make sure you don't whack it so that it comes flying off right into his face. That's one off. Well, that's 3 off now. Last one left. Guys, this is probably the easiest way to do this. I've seen other tutorials online on how to take these off and they're using various different tools. But trust me, you don't have to have the car on a ramp to do this. As long as you've got it jacked up slightly, you should be able to whack them off. Like so. Okay, so now that's off, we've got new tips. These are the tips we're putting on there. Carbon tips, as you can see, and Performance logo on there. We're going to put these tips on and hopefully it'll look a lot better than what it is or what it was. So these are the tips going on. Literally they just slide on there, and if you have a look, the way they sit, they're staggered. Now, one thing I don't like about these exhaust tips is these clips. So what we're going to do is, for the time being, we're going to stick them on with these clips, and at a later date, when I can get the car back onto a ramp, I'm going to weld these into place, because I really don't like the look of these clips. It just makes it look a bit trashy in my opinion. So you can see the difference, massive difference. Obviously we've taken the old ones off. Let me just stick one of the old ones back on there. Just show you the difference in the size. There you go. And what we're going to do with this, we're replacing the diffuser with a carbon fiber diffuser. So these are the last of the tips for this side. I always like unpackaging stuff. It gives me a little bit of a buzz. So that's another tip there. It's number 3 and number 4. I'm sure you guys can see what I mean about the clips. They just don't look right. I've seen a lot of cars with these exhaust tips on there and the clips just don't do it for me. So yeah, I'm just going to weld them on after. That's it. That's the 4 tips on there. Like so. To be fair, I would much prefer if they were slightly more inside. The only way I can do that is if I knock off these pins right here. So, what do you reckon, Zaid? Did you reckon they stuck out a bit too much when the...
Personally, I thought they weren't too bad.
You didn't think they're too bad?
Nah, if they stuck out a bit too much, then yeah, but they're not that
like
bad.
They stick out a bit too much.
Maybe when the diffuser's on, it might help it a little bit.
Alright, so what we do is, we can temporarily put the diffuser on and then see whether I like that. Because that one's not going in. Alright, so now got a brand new carbon fibre splitter. This is really light. I mean, it's like paperweight. That's going on there. Lovely. Matches the exhaust tips nice. Nice and easy. I like when carbon bits go on nice and easy. That's on there, easy. What do you reckon? Tips are looking...
I think they look alright.
You think they look alright? Let's have a look. I think it may be because of the clips. I just don't like the way the clips look.
They just stick out a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, it's not too bad. They line up. Bring the camera around here. Show that. If you have a look at the tips, they kind of line up to the end of the diffuser. I don't know. I reckon they could do with going in a bit. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. At a later date, when I've got the car on the ramp again, or I'm able to use the ramp, I shall probably adjust those, if I'm honest. Not really liking the look of that. But for the time being, we'll fit that back up, get the wheel back on, get the car down, and hopefully we can start to fit the rest of the carbon bits. We've got carbon winglets, if I can reach up there. No, I can't. Come down, bring the car down. Stop. That should do. So we've got carbon winglets to go on, which is sit on. Let me unwrap that. So after a bit of faffing around, we managed to get everything buttoned up to get the car ready for the realignment round 2. All settled, yeah? Excellent, man. Nice one. Thanks again. Hopefully it's bang on the money now. So that's all sorted, guys. We've got it all in the green. As you can see, Brendan spent a bit of time on that, but he managed to get it all sorted. Well happy with that. Okay, we're back to the video now. So where we left off from the start of the video, just going to show you guys what's been done. You would have seen this done. It's just carbon spoilers back on. So the original spoiler for the car was obviously the standard spoiler. For me, that's a joke. I mean, it's an M car. You should have a proper spoiler on there. I do know the M2 CS obviously came with this type of spoiler. So this is a M2 CS spoiler in carbon fiber, and then we've got the exhaust tips on there. So now we're going to move on to fitting the front lip. So we've got a full one-piece carbon fiber lip. This one's purchased from Carbon Factory, so shout out to them guys. I did have an issue with the first lip I did order from them, but they were really helpful to sort me out with the new lip. Really happy with this one. If you see the quality of it, it's really good quality. I've seen some carbon lips and carbon parts on cars where they've just been horrible, but I've test fitted this before, just put it up against the car, and it fits really well. So we're gonna crack on with that, and you should see me fitting that up now on the time lapse. So one last look at the car before it's got its new face on, or its new lip. Now, obviously, as always, the first thing for me to do would be to jack the car up. So I'm gonna jack that up now. Let's go grab the jack. So what we're going to use to stick this front lip on is I'm going to use 8mm bolts for the time being. So we're going to put it into place. We're just test fitting everything for the time being. So what it is I want everything to sit on there and make sure it's all okay before it goes to the body shop. And once it's back from the body shop, we're going to take the bolts out and we're going to actually put riv nuts in there to stick the front lip down, and also the side skirts, winglets. So yeah, just gonna wipe this down first, make sure it's nice and clean. We're not sticking it down, but I'd rather make sure it's clean and not allow any bits of dirt to scuff up the front lip. Just going to show you guys something that's really common when you buy a car from Copart. So what they do is they use forklifts. Obviously, I'm sure you guys saw in the first video where they lifted the car up with the forklift. This is where the forks actually sat, and they've kind of nipped the bumper here and right there. So they've kind of damaged it. So we're going to have to get that rectified at a later stage, but we'll do that when we have the bumper painted. Wasn't too happy when I saw that. I saw that at a later date, but that's what you get when you buy a car from Copart. Okay, so now we're going to move on to actually getting. Have a look here, guys. the guys at Carbon Factory, they've already made holes for us so that we can fit the bolts in. I'm not too sure whether there's any bolts underneath that will match up to them holes. I think there may be a few bolts that will match up to them holes. If not, we can make new holes. It's not a big issue. It's only underneath the car. So what I'll do is I'll take the bolts off underneath first. Let's just get this out of the way. Ooh. So all I'm doing is checking to see if there's any bolts that get in the way of the lip. I don't think so. Yeah, I think we'll get away with just, what do you call it? Just making new holes. So I can't see these bolts getting in the way, if I'm honest. Those ain't actual bolts. We've removed some of the bolts before when we were doing the bumper work and putting the headlight in. So I'm just going to get that lined up. Got to be careful because there's not a lot of room. So if you see the bolts here, we've got to be quite careful with this. We can't put any long bolts in there because otherwise it'll come out the other side. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line that up first and see where I think it sits nice. The best position for it. How are we going to do this? I reckon if we put a bit of tape here, across there, and then 2 bits on the side, that'll sort of give me an extra pair of hands to hold this in place. So what we're doing, guys, is we've got 22mm bolts, 22mm center tappers. We're going to use this for the time being. Hopefully that'll be fine, something will come through. And like I said at a later date, I'm going to stick down some rib nuts and then do it that way. Might have to get the car a little higher to do this. So all I'm doing is bolt right here. That's an 8mm bolt. So we're just lining it up with. Just get a nice view on that, a nice angle. So I'll just place this camera down to show you guys. So all I'm doing is impact driver on there, nice and slowly. That's all we want to do, and then finish off tightening it up with a ratchet spanner. Last thing I want to do is over tighten and crack the actual splitter itself. You can almost hear a crunch when fitting it, so that's when I know when to stop, just before it crunches. Just make sure it's nice and secure. So I've got no choice but to jack the other side up. But before I do that, I reckon we should get the front wheel arch liner back into the car. Because what's happening is, because I'm using the car for time being, before we get to the body shop, I wanted to leave the arch liner off, but I've noticed that when I'm driving there's a lot of stones going inside, and I'm not too sure whether the tyre is actually catching onto that radiator there, because I didn't see that there before. So I reckon, not sure what's happening to the focus there, so I didn't see that before, so I reckon the tyre is touching that. So I'm going to have to get the arch liner back on the front side of this, and also we're going to stick the little strip that goes here back onto there, but we'll do that after we put the bits on for the styling. And yeah, I want to get this little trim that goes on here back on, like I said, and just so the car looks like it's one piece until, in fact, I think we should do that now since the car's jacked up on this side. So what we'll do is we'll stick the wheel arch liner back on, if we can get it in nice and easy, once the car's jacked up. Saves us from having to come around again and jack it back up from this side. And then when we go over to the other side, we can just stick the last bolt into the front there. You know, make things a bit easier for us. We don't want to be doing double the work for no reason. So I'll get a torch. Since we've got the car jacked up, I reckon we should stick this side on there since it's jacked up. Bolts aside, trim is now back on there, splitters on there, so we're gonna move on to putting these on. Little winglets since the car's jacked up. So I didn't film me doing this side of the car because obviously you saw how I done the other side, but I thought I'd show you guys this, and I'm not too sure why, but once I lifted this car up on this side, something I noticed is the actual under trays are missing from this entire side. It looks like, to me, the only explanation can be that the insurance company were doing some checks underneath to make sure everything's okay, and they've removed the entire under tray from this side and possibly the middle there, because that kind of looks a bit empty to me. And I reckon that gearbox should be covered with some sort of tray so that it doesn't get damaged. But if you have a look here as well, you see all the little retaining clips for the side skirts missing also. So we're gonna have to get that also, get that back on there, because obviously I'm not having a car with those bits missing. But yeah, the car is now done. So I'm just gonna lower this side like so. Alright, so the car's done now, guys. What do you reckon? You would have seen me ask you this a little earlier, but now that we've got both sides done, perfect. I love the way that looks. Excellent. So that's all the styling parts done. We've got the front carbon lip. We've got the winglets on the side. Sit nice and perfect. We've got the carbon rear diffuser and also the carbon spoiler with the carbon tips to finish it off nicely. So we're done with all the styling bits on this. I do want to do another bit, which I'm going to do possibly in the next video. I want to paint the calipers in a sort of copper color, because at the moment I think they're just hidden behind those wheels and they do need to come out. Copper, what do you reckon, guys, in the comments, if you think I should do the calipers in copper. Other than that, with the, like I said, with the tuning side of it, I'm going to leave that for the time being. Once the car's all painted and nice and shiny and ready, we're going to start bolting these bits in with riv nuts, getting all the arch lining back on, and yeah, finishing it off. We still need to change this grill down here, that's broken, but we'll have to do that once the bumper's off the car. So for the time being, it's all complete, and that, as I said, possibly in the next video we're going to be doing the calipers. So keep on watching, like, subscribe, share the videos, and hopefully we can build this channel and I can get another project. So obviously I'm dependent on you guys giving me that motivation to do this and continue with it. So I need that support. Like I said, like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.